Hi guys, it's Arseny here. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting observation that I managed to discover while working with my HVAC solar and plumbing clients. And specifically, what I discovered is that contractors love saving money, but cheap is the most expensive strategy out of all. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to unpack how I look at this. I'm also going to show you a few very simple examples on how I see this on a week to week basis, every single week pretty much, and also I'll define what is the conclusion that I managed to drive this to, and what is the underlying mindset that I have about a specific topic as well. So first of all, three very simple examples that I see with pretty much every single contractor that wants to grow more, but aren't really seeing the results or aren't really hitting the goal as they would want to. So there are three core things where I see that the cheap is actually the most expensive strategy. First one is is websites. Websites, landing pages, anything to do with having a place where traffic lands and where you actually collect leads in the first place. This one of the most classic ones, because you often see a cheap one pager with a phone number, just like a service specified there, and this is pretty much it. On the surface level, this may look absolutely fine, right? Because maybe you are investing heavily into like high quality ads or high quality offline marketing or anything like this. But after a few months, very often what happens is that you just generally don't get any conversions, so you get so many irrelevant conversions that are just like extremely messy, and you have a lot of ad budget just wasted in the first place, right? So this is one of the classic ones. Second one is leads generally. Oftentimes people just decide to just buy leads, like go with shared leads, and usually it sounds absolutely amazing. You have the guaranteed amount of leads, you just buy them, and then you just have to work with them until you find there are 15 other competitors that are competing for the same one, and usually you have a very absurd conversion rates on those types of leads. Usually, like the standard is like 1 in 50. If you have a very good rate, it can be 1 in 10, which is absolutely ridiculous as well. Third point is also one of the classic ones, also on the surface level. Follow up. Oftentimes I hear, I just want to get leads, and I will make sure that I just handle them as they go. I'll just handle them as they go. I don't need really any systems. I can just pick up the phone and do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just good at sales, so I'm going to do this. This oftentimes leads to a lot of calls being missed just because of the fact that contractors are usually busy with a ton of different things to do. This leads to leads just ghosting them because they didn't get the response initially, they didn't get the feedback that they wanted to, and they just moved on with somebody else. This is often like this happens so much that it's just absurd right now. So not having a proper system here, it obviously just burns thousands silently. You may be successful with generating leads, but with having this mindset, you may be absolutely unsuccessful with actually closing them in the first place, which also doesn't really make sense because the final goal is the clients. Now, after those three examples, what we want to discuss is the hidden cost of cheap is way higher than the cost of building right. Proper systems cost more at first, but they compound, and this is fundamental. Actually, I want to highlight this: they compound. If you build something properly, meaning that by the word properly means that you clearly understood the problem and you created the solution that will help you solve the problem and be able to sustain the situation where the problem is solved. And this allows you to build on the foundation of something that where the problem is no longer in place, and this allows you to compound, right? Every improvement for the system that helped you solve the problem for a while allows you to stack more, more, and more leverage for the same system. So this way you're able to get the compound interest going. That's how you scale without chaos, because your foundation is actually solid. This is fundamental. This is pretty much the underlying lesson that I managed to come up with out of this reflection. So when you see that going with something cheap just for the sake of going with something cheap leads to a poor foundation, especially when it comes to some fundamental systems in business. But when it comes to important systems in business, for example, client acquisition, when you go with something cheap, Oftentimes, it's not like a rule of thumb, but statistically, you see yourself in a huge amount of chaos after this. It's the same stuff like the classic comparison of a short pleasure and the long-term pleasure. Honestly, I would rather see a contractor invest $1 the right way than like $0.2 50 times and wonder why they're stuck. And this is why we have this approach in my business in the first place. Now, if you are a solar HVAC or a plumbing contractor that are focused on residential and commercial clients, and you want to grow, you actually want to get more high quality, high value, highly relevant, exclusive clients instead of chaos, instead of shared leads and anything like this. This is what we help build for our clients. So in the description where you watch this, you will see the link. Click on the link, and you will be able to book the best time for a quick chat. So this way we can see if we are a good fit or not, and then we can move on from there. If we are a good fit, this can be absolutely trajectory changing for the business. So if you would want to just explore something like this, the discovery call is free. So take a look at the link, book the best time, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, cheers.